Hello, everybody. I'm here just a few seconds early, maybe a few seconds late. Still depends on what your clock's saying and doing. I want to say hi to everybody, and it's a Thursday, and I'm just doing open questions today because I decided I could. I had the time to do it, and I'm going to turn my phone off so it quits talking to us. Okay. Oh dear. Okay. I'm going to get to my settings so I can turn the sound off. You'd think I'd think of that before I got on early, wouldn't you? But such is life. Oh well, if it rings, it rings. Um, I'll just be straight up with everybody. I'm really glad that you're here. I'm glad that I'm here for you. But this week has been a roller coaster ride, and I'm talking about personally in my life. A couple of things happened this week, and yesterday was one of those days where you go, "How am I going to write? You know, how am I going to list this in my gratitude book?" Hi, everybody. Hi, Mimi. I'm going to get your questions. And if you put your questions in capitals, makes it much easier for me to find them. The first three that we're going to do today are ones people sent in early. What's going on around me? Okay. My daughter went to get like a regular old physical, and they found she had a really bad blood draw. There were really scary signs in her blood work. And as you know, she and I are very close. We live together. We found out we are each other's best roommates, which doesn't always happen in families, but does in ours. Anyway, she came home. And yesterday we found out they scratched off the worst of the symptoms she had. She does not have leukemia, which is yay! But they still don't know what she does have. Her white counts in a weird place. Her blood chemistry's all over the place. And I'm like, this doesn't amaze me because this sounds like every health thing I ever had my whole adult life. But they didn't know as much then as they do now. So anyway, she's going to work on it. We're going to get her all back up and running. She just hurts all the time. The biggest symptom for her, she's sort of constantly in pain. And then as soon as I got that it wasn't the worst possible description of a symptom for her, I got an email. Quite honestly, I've been kind of expecting, when you're my age, you expect these things. But remember I told you, they call. They don't talk to me all day, and then they call now. I got an email from a friend who's been, I've got pictures of us at each other's third birthday parties. I mean, she and I go that way back. And she was my best friend all the way through grade school, high school, in college. We always touched base. After college, we kind of did that. I'm young and I'm in my 20s, and you're in Illinois and I'm in Texas. What are we going to do about that kind of thing? And that's before there were cell phones that you could just call someone and it didn't cost you an arm and a leg. Anyway, she's been really close to me, but she had a chemical exposure in her 40s and ended up in a coma. So I've watched her very carefully since then. And she wrote me about a year ago and said, they did some brain scans and it looks weird, but we don't know what it is. And anyway, she wrote me a long email yesterday. And she said she has Alzheimer's. She went to one of the best treatment centers in the country. She's got the money to take care of herself. And she explained to me in some detail about kind of treatment she's going to get. And she's optimistic. She said they're going to treat it very aggressively. I have another friend who I've had since grade school who also has Alzheimer's. And she's taking not as aggressive a path, but she caught it real early. And so she's kind of feels like she's a step up. Anyway. It's been that kind of week. It reminds me that I am 76 years old and I have friends who have those kind of problems. And I kind of knew they might because both their families had that problem, and now they're living through and they're getting the genes. They wrote me and they said, we're so glad because we know you didn't have that in your family, and you don't have to have it in your family to finally get it. But anyway, so I'm kind of been tussling with that all morning while I've been planting my new lettuces and spinaches to put in my garden, get starting the seedlings in the house. And I actually have a grow pod thing that's a big grow light. I can grow a full vegetable garden in one corner of my office here. So I'm working on that. And I wanted to talk to y'all. I mean, I had the option to not do it because nobody tells me when to work but me. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do, I put I rolled some stones in the garden for us to look at for this is the garden today. And I got a new camera over the garden and they tell me you can read the characters much better. And it was kind of interesting because usually things always, there's always some stone usually in the middle. I've only ever thrown it a few times where it all ended up in the outer edge. But what I see is our grounding, what's grounding us now. And we're in the present and the future. And it's our values are being purified now. And all the gifts we have are not yet recognized that are happening around us. But then we have spirit in the third eye. And that's a great place for it. And it's this, our spirit is helping us see around the corner, to have us to be a stronger vision around the corner. And then I got good old clarity in go for it. And this says we're supposed to move now on our intuitions. And then where is our minds? Well, our minds have been put through it since idiot governments and weird elections and things. So we've got our mind is between fire, which is south in the ancestors, and earth, where things grow up from, what's approaching. And we're dealing a lot with things from our past. And boy, do I feel that today. But for the earth, where final thoughts are coming that are going to bring a change to the situation. And then our body is in water. And it likes it there. And it says we need to just stay grounded. That's the best we can do right now. But these are it's just kind of don't cast your sight forward looking for a certain thing, kind of see what's coming up. But we're really being purified right now. And I think that's a really important lesson for all of us right now. And if we use our intuition that we're told we've got over here, we can see around the corners. And I hope people are using their intuition wisely at this point. And now I'm going to go to the questions. You can hear it in my throat. We're going to try a new medicine for keeping my drainage down because this weird throat thing I've had for a couple weeks is bothering me. Anyway, me. Can you explain what different shapes of crystals do? Yes, I can. And I assume you mean when I'm like laying out a garden and stuff. And let's see. When you see, if you include, this is a pyramid. If you include a pyramid when you're working with stones, a pyramid takes energy, brings all the energy in and spreads it out around you. It also takes all of your thoughts and intentions. It's like a point. And it's just like as a point, like a pyramid. And so if you're thinking about a pyramid, that's one way to look at how to use the shapes of crystals mean. If you can get points in nature. Mother Nature puts points on quartz crystals for that same reason, but it's pointing energy out or pulling strong energy in because it's got a focal point there. Suppose you have a lovely little tumbled piece of, and this is purple quartz that I've got, and you hold it in your hand, and purple quartz is really good for working with your crown chakra. And it's just a lovely warm stone. But it's also the fact that it's in a circular shape means it's comforting. It's not aiming at anything in particular. Then you can get one of these. This is a stacked crystal, and it's some form of hematite that forms into lots of little crystals. Almost looks like a little spaceship in one way. But anyway, it's a beautiful stone, and this one just splishes out energy. You can just feel energy coming off of it towards you, and that's that's what I feel when I feel those crystals. Then there's also, now this was where I wasn't sure what Mimi was talking about. There's the shapes that are in sacred geometry. And sacred geometry starts with a point, it goes to a line, and eventually forms a circle. It forms a circle. And here's a little globe. This is made out of opalite, and that's a globe that's a shape in sacred geometry. And that just brings energy in from all directions and spreads energy out all directions. We also have cubes, four-sided cubes. That's part of those. You get once again, you get the pyramid, the triangle, and then you get into the weird shapes, like this is 8. This is an octahedron. It's an 8-sided form, and I wish I had a better copy of what it is. But an octahedron is sort of as above, so below, to the left of me, or to the front and the back. That creates like two little pyramids below you and above you, and you use it. There are natural octahedrons in fluorites, and that's a way that you can get in the center of the energy and use that energy. And then there's other shapes. There's a 10 and another one, and I don't remember their names, but these are funny kind of little cubes. They sort of look like, if you've ever had a kid into D&D, or if you're into D&D, you can see there are different sizes of cubes. Those all they deal to their numeric value. You'd have a numerology if they're 10-sided or 8-sided or whatever. But at the center, at the final shape that gets formed out of all of this is called the Merkaba. And this is literally 2 pyramids pushed together. And that's the final shape in sacred geometry when you study it. And it is the culmination of energy, and it is considered the most powerful shape. And I don't know which of the crystals you meant for me to talk about, Mimi, but I will do a really good show on shapes and numbers in sacred geometry, because I think that can be a real good clue to you for where you are. And what are the energetic shifts happening around us? I threw out this garden, and I think it's pretty much what it is. The world's revealing itself to us, and it's up to us to use our own intuition and to understand that we're strong enough to not get sucked into their dialogue, into their scenario, and to move our lives ahead, move it as positively as we can, and to not dwell on the negative. And that's really, really tough right now. I know it is, but to not dwell on the negative. And it goes, what is her best way to protest? My Nebraska representative seems worthless. I write back word salad when I write them. Miriam, I actually looked it up, and you have several chapters of Indivisible. That's INDIVISIBLE. Indivisible. And Indivisible, and I just typed in Indivisible in Nebraska. There's some in Lincoln. There's some in Omaha. And they have outreach into other communities. And they have a Facebook page, Nebraska Indivisible, and they have a calendar on there of when they're doing things and when they need people and how they can help you reach out. So if I was in Nebraska, if I had to uproot and move to Nebraska and I was looking for a group to work with, I would definitely look at them first, because I think their they're in the same headspace you're in. Yeah, let's see what else we got. Yes, it is a magical day for all the galactic citizens. Carol, Sandra Dell. Yeah, Catherine, it's been a tough week. There's a lot of things going back and forth around us, but you know, am I in danger of flowing away? If you know, we're having a lot of thunderstorms come over us. No, I live up in North Dallas. I live the if this floats away, the whole state's gone. Okay. I used to live in an area where we had, when the flooding got bad enough, there was a street called Inwood Road that was right, main thoroughfare right by me. It was an old riverbed, and we got enough water. It went back to being a riverbed again. And I used to live in a condominium where we were sort of an island surrounded by rivers. And because Texas is so flat and we get lots and lots of water, all of a sudden it has no place to go. But I am not in danger of flowing away. Blowing away, that might happen because we're having some pretty bad winds. Yes. Hold for a second. I got to answer a question. Okay. If you think you're having a bad day, just realize what just happened to Christy Nome. She just got fired as head of Homeland Security. It's all about to all fall apart, guys. Anyway, what will the outcome be for my brother's cancer treatment? I'm going to look at it from your perspective, Eliza, because I really hate to answer questions about other people's situations. Like people come up to me and say, what's going to happen to my dirty, rotten ex? And I realize you're not asking a dirty, rotten ex question, but I'm going to ask this the best way. Okay. Will Eliza be able to be as supportive as she needs to while her brother's in treatment? That's what I'm going to ask, because I really can't ask for your brother. If your brother wanted to know, he'd have to ask me. That's kind of an ethics problem we have. Let me go to will Eliza be okay with her brother's treatment? Thank you, Mimi. We think she's going to be fine, but let's see. Her brother's treatment. Yes, and this is going to be transformational for your family somehow or another. The treatment he's going through is going to transform, but this is a yes, 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 yes. And you're going to feel really good about it at the end. And this is someone's writing in who's helping him. And these are people celebrating. I can't imagine I would get this when discussing how you'd feel about cancer treatment if it wasn't going to be positive. So that's one of, I don't throw a whole lot of 5 yes cards. So I think it looks good for him, and we'll keep him in our prayers, Liza, because even if the treatment's successful, let's see if we got another question that's gonna. Oops! Don't do that. What happened to my comments? Okay, I just clicked the wrong button and my comments went away. Okay, here's what my son. Okay, my son seems to always be angry and hates school. For help and advice. Okay, peace and love. How can peace and love help her son? I don't know how old he is, which is kind of a problem here, but that's okay. Gotta shuffle them up some kind. Okay, here. What I see, he's angry at is he angry at his dad? Is his dad not around? He's not getting help from a lot of other places. He's either smaller or much bigger, but he's outsized from the crowd of kids he's with. The Wheel of Fortune says he's turning around. What can help him the most? He hasn't found the subjects that he's good at. And I don't know if you're in communication with the school about that, but not every kid learns the same way. And I have a feeling he has a small, well, it's not small because it's all overwhelming to him, but he has a small learning difference. He doesn't learn like all the other kids learn, and that upsets him. But let's see, change. Who's this person? Yeah, I definitely think he doesn't have anyone to look up to say this is going to make it that much better. And there's, I mean, as one parent, you can do so much. What's this? And you're not working with a good teacher who's willing to try and help him find the thing he's good at. This card literally means, I know it means different things in different decks, but in this deck, it means that you've tried a lot of different things, you found the thing you're good at. When it's reversed, it means you haven't found the thing you're good at and you feel isolated because of it. And he doesn't get along with his classmates. To him, school's just a prison. I think he may be borderline ADHD or maybe completely ADHD. And he gets no value. He gets no positive feedback from being there. Okay. What can mom do? Okay, that's fine. We've now described the problem. What can mom do? And I'm going to get a different deck of cards. These are real simple. This deck is called the Game of Life, and they look like Monopoly placements. Let's see. What can mom do to help son? Mom do to help son? This is the reverse of, well, he knows in a way it's a way to get your attention. He pisses you off by doing this because you're the support and protector of truth, and he's pushing all your buttons to see if you're going to hold on. But when I get the sun, it means yes, that there's a way out of this. He's very, very stressed in his current class environment. And I asked, what's going to help him get out of that? Abundant Legacy Avenue. He is going to run into, he really needs a male teacher. And I know they're not thick on the ground in grade schools or whatever, in many schools at this point. What I see here is he does this in some way to get your attention. So if I were you, I'd try to figure out a way to make him less stressed, and don't make sure that the only time the only way he can get attention from you is if he misbehaves, because that's what he feels like now. That's the only way he can get anybody's attention. He has an abundant legacy coming towards him. He's got someone who's going to come in who's going to really help him. But this card is like the Nine of Swords. It's the anxiously stressed out way. And that's his problem, is he's really stressed out. So I don't know how old the kid is, but you might want to go to a pediatrician and say you don't think this is normal and start working with that. Because I had Sean, who many of you have seen on my other, when I do my political things, he was ADHD and he had a lot of learning disabilities. And the school he was at wasn't addressing it. And so he would just bluff his way through because he's a real good con artist. But I had it, I knew he was completely diagnosed. When he finally went to a school that was willing to work with it, he went from being functionally illiterate to being ready to go to college in 2.5 years. So there's lots of hope for him. He's got abundance waiting for him out here. But you need to work with some other professionals, and teachers will say, oh well, all kids act like this, but I don't know. I think what I see there is I see ADHD or some other kind of just thing that you can get him help with. And there's lots of different ways to do that. Okay. Do you see me meeting someone new this year for a serious long-term relationship? Okay. I'm trying to pick out which deck I think is going to work best for you, Sunshine. Here we go. Bunny cards. We're going to use the bunny cards. Let's see. Okay, Sunshine. Will you meet someone new in this year for a serious relationship? The first part of the year is not going to be so great, but the end of the year is going to be better. You're going to meet them. Okay, this does it. You're not really sure what you want in someone, and that makes it really hard to find someone that you can have a long-term relationship with. And it's because you're still working out some problems inside yourself about being in a relationship, but you're going to go meet through a very traditional way of meeting people, like through school, if you take a class, or if through a church or through some kind of community meeting. That's where you're going to meet this person. And you're going to recognize they're kind of in the same way. You're the Page of Wands. You're the problem here, not them. They're the Page of Cups. They're willingly opening their heart up to you. Then it's up to you. Do you want to make that kind of decision? And and look at them honestly and fairly, and look at yourself honestly and fairly. The best way to get into a really good relationship is to be in a really good relationship with yourself. So whatever shadow work you're doing right now, continue to work on it, because that's going to help you. That will speed it up, because this is the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is kind of illusion and delusion, and it's what do I think it's going to be like, and how is it? And I used to always meet the best people that I dated when I was on a celibacy strike, when I said, I'm not going to date anybody. And then all of a sudden they'd be all at my door. What can I say? And Flower. Hi, Flower Beauty. Okay, Bora Bora. Hi. Okay. Yep, that's what my kids came in to tell me. Crusty Gnome. And put in Mike Wayne Mullet. Oh, I don't know who that is. So that's another person. Bet she doesn't shoot critters. She did. God, that woman is weird. Okay, we got people doing feng shui again. Try to figure out the best way north. And, just do the best you can. And if not, I'm going to have Tim Walters coming on the 26th of March. And he's just finished his book um, on physics, quantum physics, and how to use the forces that are around quantum physics and how to understand that through what we do with earth energy. And he talks a lot about there's a way you can put crystals to take negative energy and move it to a positive point. There's a way to do that. And we'll see if he can help with some of that. But do the best you can. I sleep east, west. My head heads south because there's no other way to do that in my bedroom. Just go. And I know you're not going to move out of your house to go find a bedroom wall that's north. So, okay. What can I do to heal my eyes? Does any treatment work? What's wrong with your eyes, Flower? One thing I know a lot of people swear by is castor oil, rubbing it on your eyelids at night and putting a face mask on so they don't open up and sleeping like that. I know people who've had significant improvement in their cataracts and their night vision doing that. I don't know. That's the only off the cuff, and I'm not a medical doctor. Don't even play one on TV. So take it for what it's worth. But I've had anecdotally people tell me that works. But I don't know what's wrong with your eyes, so that makes it hard. Have you been to an eye doctor to see if they can tell you what's wrong? Okay. I know, Elizabeth, Eliza, but I know, and that's hard. But you can be there and be support to him. I had a friend who had cancer, and I used to just check in with her all the time until she got past it, and she healed. It worked. Her treatment worked. But you just knowing someone's there supporting you can be helpful. And Sandra says some people I couldn't do that because if I put my bed in the center of my room, I couldn't get out my back door. I live in a strange room. But do the best you can. Think about it. Get creative. Don't sleep in a bedroom. Okay. That's the biggest part, is keeping their energy up, because they're the ones who are going to have to go through it, not us. This is back to her brother's optimistic about his cancer treatment. Oh, yeah, that's part of what's wrong with your son, Peace and Love, is his dad's not around and he senses it. So have you ever thought about putting him in a scout troop or another group where he can meet and have some other father figure show up? Okay. Any messages from your guides? Okay. They're telling me that you need to not be getting involved in lots of petty little arguments and fights, because that brings up the more evil side of your own nature. And that if you don't do that, and you can go back, this is the Hierophant, no, Emperor. If you don't do that, then you can take care of your own life. So the message from your guides is, don't let the little stuff get you, because it just makes you upset and makes you go in the wrong direction, and to put yourself towards the things you can work on and be successful at. And I'm going to pull one more oracle card for you. I'm pulling it out of this deck, Guardian Knight, Guardian Knight Tarot. And it says, in your own life, you can be your own empress. It's when you let, do you let, the picture I'm getting, kind of hearing from them, is you let other people draw you into their fights just because it gives you something to do. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that it does. And if you want to take care of your own life, your empress represents motherly love and compassion. It's the energy that nurtures every aspect of your life. Getting pulled into all these petty little battles takes you off being the best person you can be. So it says, at the end of the day, you can be the empress for yourself. And you need to kind of live in your own garden. And people come to you because you're clever and you kind of have a magical thing about you. You have a little bit of a shape-shifting quality about you. But that's who you should be. And it's advice from your guides. And this is good advice from anybody's guides. Don't let them get you caught up in their crap. That's where you get hurt. Let's see. Yeah, peace and love. I'd get a complete physical, because until I got that done, I did not understand how difficult it was for Sean to sit still in one place. And you've seen him on my shows. I mean, he grew up. He speaks nicely. He had a teacher who, when I went in one day, I dropped by the school to see how things were going, and she said he hadn't been behaving well, so she was teaching him to respect books. She had him standing in the corner with his arms stretched out, holding up the books like he was a bookshelf. He got removed from that class and put in a different teacher's class. That took about 48 hours. Kids don't, and really bad things have been happening between him and this teacher. So, yeah, he needs, I don't know if you have alternative schools you can get him to or where you are, but, and in the middle of all that, my son, Sean and Casey, and their dad and I, their dad and I were in a long, drawn out custody battle. So, and because I'm the parent that would show up to protect my kids, the schools always said what a wonderful father he was. Of course he was. He traveled and he wasn't in town much, and he never bothered them. I used to make them do their jobs. Anyway, that's my personal gripey story about that. I knew you were going to check with me today, lady. I pulled, when I was pulling cards up from my card place, I pulled this deck, The Talking from Heaven. You can't see it, it's glary. It says Talking from Heaven by James Van Praagh. When I was over by the decks, I said, well, I haven't used that in a while. And I said, I know someone's going to call me. Someone wants to know, how's Mom? Okay, we'll see how Mom is. Oh, she says her death was painless. And don't worry or hold on to any guilt. So whether you had to leave the room and you weren't there when she died or whatever happened, she said her death was painless, and she's been trying to get the message to you that she just went when she wanted to go. And let's see if she has a message specifically. And she has no more earthly worries, and she doesn't want you to spend a minute of the rest of your life worrying about what happened to her. She's fine. She's fine. I can feel her smiling. You feel a breeze go by you every once in a while during the day, and that's her trying to touch you and tell you it's okay. Okay. You should take more interest in his studies and really work with him, because then he'll get a sense of that. Because of some of my experiences with my first two in regular school, and the fact that Susan could read, and I mean like read a book, read, when she was 3, we decided to homeschool her for just a couple of years so she wouldn't be so advanced from the other kids in the class and make them all crazy. And we ended up homeschooling her until her dad died. Um, and no, until right before her dad died. She then went to a charter school in our area, and Susan was, because my second husband was a physicist and a mathematician. Susan was doing calculus in the 5th grade. Okay. Really? Yeah, I'm looking forward to Tim Walter coming, because he sent me a PDF of his book, and it's really interesting reading. And I think he takes quantum physics and he breaks it down so just as a civilian you can understand it, and that would happen. Okay. And I'm everybody. Okay, looking for questions. Angela Capwell's lurking. Are you feeling better, Angela? Are things sort of clearing up for you? Okay, this is somebody who's maybe done this deal. The toilet paper roll on a tissue placed over each eye pulls unnecessary energy up and out of our eyes. If she's talking about the castor oil treatment, then that may be what she's talking about. But I've had friends demonetized recently for giving too much health advice. So, okay. Well, me trying the new healing modality egg helped me with my anxiety. Your anxiety experiences. Let's see. We'll see what we can get. We'll do a yes, no on that. I'm shuffling them. I can't shuffle them on this because when I shuffle them on this, the fabric moves. Okay. And I'm putting up some new psychic profiles. I taped a few and I'm getting them set up, and they're coming out too. So what else I got going? Let's see. Okay, trying the new egg hill. Yes. Yes. Sun right side up or upside down is a yes. I'd say that's a yes. And don't expect sudden, rapid changes, but it's gonna give you what the positive energy you bring into it's gonna come back. And I wouldn't do it until, I don't know when you have your appointment scheduled, but I'd make sure Mercury was in the right direction, not retrograde. Like I told a friend of mine yesterday, I think Mercury's retrograde in my microwave drinking Gatorade. And Kelly, yes, Kelly True North. I did her. She's going to be on the psychic profiles right after Irish Grannies first, and then it's you, kid. Okay, my oil and gas lawyer sent me part of my contract after 4 months. He said it won't be finished for a month. Said should I get another lawyer, and will he get it done? I'm not sure about charges or what. Okay. I don't know how much money is involved in your yes and lawyer thing, but we'll do that with this one. Should Divergent Moon get a second lawyer involved in this stuff? Weirdly enough, when one of my jobs going through graduate school when I was studying accounting was I did a lot of calculations for gas and oil. It seems to me to be sort of a crooked business all around, but I don't think getting a new lawyer is going to help. It's just going to mess it up. I think you're best just to patiently wait. I don't know how much money's on the line Divergent Moon, but a new lawyer is just going to mix it up and make it a little bit longer. Okay, I've been working on my clairs through. Okay, been working on my clairs hard the past 3 years. Where do my guides want me to concentrate on? Okay, I'm gonna throw it in the garden because I've got more faith it's going to come up with a good answer for this one. Silverwoods, what do they want you concentrating on? Okay, well, solar plexus work would be good. Sacral chakra. Clairs. You need to listen more carefully to yourself, but that's not bad having your mind in true. And water. See what's mind in water. You need to. It's okay. This is a good stone for you. I knew that was one that caught my eye. You need to let go of limitations. You limit yourself. You get so far with things, and then you pull back, and that's not helping you. And you need to think more positively because everything doesn't happen overnight. But you're getting a lot of messages. You're comparing yourself to other people. Oh, I don't think that's the strongest I would have had. So they want you to concentrate on the messages you're getting and viewing them as positive. And your spirit's in fire. That's fun. Thoughts from the past are clouding you. You don't compare yourself to anybody else. But the two things you need to be working on is your sacral chakra, which has got a lot of good clarity in it, and it knows what it's doing. You need to harmonize your intentions with the creative thoughts you have, and then when you get to solar plexus, the solar plexus is like right under your rib cage, and that's where the energy spins out of your body. And and actually, when that says that if you self-doubt, you block the power that you have to move forward. So maybe you shouldn't consider having to work with your clairs or those energies that hard. Maybe you should relax a little bit and just see what comes of it. It's not saying you're not successful. It's saying you need to let go of the limitations you're putting on yourself. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. I'm going to use the next one. It's going to be messages for Irana. Let's see. Any messages for Irana? Okay. right now. Well, you got a stone and go for it too, which is great. Your spirit. You need to balance your energy to move ahead. And some part of what you're working on, you keep doing it because you think, well, it's keeping me together right now, but you need to kind of think about maybe easing off from that part of what you're working on right now because your spirit's emerging in some new and wonderful ways. And much more can be brought forward if you don't hang on to these false thoughts from the past. Your body is right in the middle of this is like ground your thoughts, ground your thoughts, ground your thoughts, ground your thoughts. Embody your past into where you are. So you got a whole lot of that going on. But your clarity and go for it. Move now on what you intuitively feel because you have a whole lot of paths opening up for you. And when you sit there and dither and don't make a decision, you lose your opportunities and it's something you've done before, but and it may have maybe you tried it didn't feel exactly right. Something's going to be presented to you, but this is a real message of your spirit's ready to go. Your your the paths are going to be opened up to you. Your mind is ready to go. It just don't become tied to false memories. And this says this is something you've done in the past. Look at what worked and you use the parts that worked, and that'll help you the most. Okay. Good. I guess Angel's feeling better. Today's a good one. Good peace and love. Just work with your kids and hug them and tell them you love them. He's feeling a lot of the stress and emotional pressure that's been around you. And you can't not have emotional pressure when you don't have another parent around to help you. Okay. He said I should get another lawyer. Oh, does he want you to move all the files over to another lawyer? Yeah, but I mean, no one pay him for anything until the other lawyer looks everything over. Divergent Moon. I didn't read it the way what I saw was you're going to try and get a lawyer to prod him to do his job. If you said to get another lawyer, yeah, just tell him this guy's not doing his job. And trust me, they understand that. I have a brother who's a lawyer. I would not go through and do oil and gas stuff on my own. As a civilian, no. Okay. 7 years ago, my daughter finished a PhD at Yale. Since then, she's been working at Macy's in basic retail job. What can I do to help her get in touch with a more meaningful career? Let's see if she wants a more meaningful career. She may have gotten a PhD in something she figured out she doesn't want to mess with, but we'll see. We're going to put the bunny cards and see if can Patricia help her daughter move to a more meaningful career? Can Patricia help her daughter move? No, that one apparently wants to come up. She's going to find her own way. She just really doesn't like whatever she chose to study. She really doesn't like it. And she can't quite figure her way out of that. But something's coming towards her that's going to lead her away from that. She's got the sun. She'll find her own way out of this. And, since I don't know what the PhD was in and I don't know all the circumstances, I just let her know you love her and just say, hi, how's it going in your world? fire. Okay. Okay. My daughter's having a hard time right now. Do you see things looking up for her soon? Okay. Well, will Jean feel a change around her daughter soon? And we're almost done with questions, guys. Okay, she's getting offers to make some changes. She's going to have changes. She's just being snotty about what she wants to pick to do. She has all of the strength she needs to go move forward. And she will make her mind up because the Two of Swords reversed means one sword is the mind and one is the heart. She's going to have to make a heartfelt choice. But she's just being stubborn. And it's of her own making. She's sitting under the tree. She's getting offers. I mean, the universe can bring you everything you need, and if you don't pick one of it up, then what's going to happen? There's nothing you can do about that. But I do see in the future that she's going to get to feeling better about things and start to fly right. Let me look through the rest of the questions, see if it... Yeah, the eclipse was kind of tough on some people, I understand. Okay. Should I want to retire soon. Should I borrow money to fix up my house or do minimal repairs and sell it? I'm going to do two lines. One is fix it up and stay there, and the other is to do minimal repairs and sell it. So there'll be two lines of cards. And that's the last question, guys, because I got 3 minutes to answer Joanna's question. This is fix it up. Well, that's a big fat no. And this is to sell it. And I know those look like bad cards, but you need to go into your heart and see whether you want to move somewhere else. That's the big problem. You don't know which of the two you really want to do. This one says you're not looking at your choices properly. You're a little imbalanced about what you might spend money on. You don't have the power within yourself to put up with the turbulence of people coming in and fixing it up. And you do have the sun, which right side up or upside down. That's the most yes you got in this reading. What I get from this reading is you're just real cloudy about which option you want to look at. If you sell your house now, you won't be able to get the price you need for it, but it would take a lot off your plate if you could go downsize and go to something smaller or find a condo or some other living circumstances. And there's been problems with the house all along. It's either one, because this is a good card at the end too. It's kind of, this is like, Joanna, it's pick the one you want. But right now, they're running neck and neck. Of the two, when I really look at the cards closely, I would think your second choice, which is to sell, do minimal repairs and sell, would be your best option. But you have to have a place to go. I got a feeling when I was laying this cards down, you don't know where you really want to go yet. So I'd have the whole game plan done. Okay. And anyway, I'm glad all of you came here. If I could give you wit and wisdom, and if I said something that sounds like it might be right on the mark for you, that's because you were supposed to hear it today. And that's 1 hour. And I'm done. And y'all have a good weekend. I'll be on with Scott on Sunday. I'm still doing readings. We still have spaces in the tarot class if you're interested in that. And thank you for coming by.